Hey everyone, I've decided to start a Discerning Notes series where I try to dissect and describe a single note in perfumery, and the first note that I'll describe starting today is the sandalwood note, or Bois de Santal. I hope that this is educational for both you, the viewer, as well as for me. Today, I will use certain points of references. There are of course many fragrances that contain this note or claim to contain it. This note is actually originating from two main species, the Santalum spicatum, the Australian sandalwood, and the Santalum album, which is the more prized Mysore sandalwood from India. The history of its use dates back to 4 millennia ago in Japan and India, where it was mainly used as a temple incense, and it is still used today in many Indian temples, but today it is an endangered species and protected as such, and so it is illegal to harvest sandalwood, and it has been restricted or completely taken out of the use of modern day perfumery. But there are still some vestiges of the use of sandalwood and of course its synthetic replacements. So today I'll be using certain reference points. Like I said, I'm going to start from the one that smells least like sandalwood to the one that smells most like it. And I hope that you will contribute to this video by adding to the down bar, to the comments I mean, anything that you have to add, because obviously I don't have all the perfumes that I wish to use. I only have a handful. Okay, I'm going to start with Cacharel's Lulu. This one is apparently a wonder of sandalwood and vanilla. I have tried this out before, and I only detect the sandalwood more in the dry down rather than the top. So sandalwood is more of a base note in perfumery, but the vanilla in this is almost overpowering, so I wouldn't call this an accurate representation of sandalwood, and I have no idea where their sandalwood came from. Probably it's synthetic. The next closest that I found is actually Diptyque's Tamdao. I have a spray sample here, and let me spray some on, because apparently this is a straight up sandalwood. Yes, I would say that from this fragrance the descriptors would be woody, papery, and somewhat smooth and silky, if I can put it down to words. The next one that I'll be trying side by side with Tamdao is Chanel's Bois des Iles. This is a decant of their Les Exclusives version, which is an eau de toilette. This is a much sweeter, creamier, and somehow more sparkling sandalwood, and it's even spicier and woodier than Tamdao is. Of course, just like in other fragrances, this is blended with other notes that probably include aldehydes and certain flowers, but it's a good reference point for sandalwood, but I probably have to wait until the dry down for this one. It's very smooth and a little bit milky. I'm afraid I don't have Chanel's Egoiste, so that one apparently has the milky aspect as well. The next one is the sandalwood wonder from the house of Guerlain, called Samsara, released at a time when Guerlain had their own sandalwood plantations in India, and this one is 30% sandalwood, which is a mixture of the synthetic and the genuine real sandalwood, together with jasmine infused in the composition. I shan't apply this, I'll just smell it from the bottle, because this smelled from the bottle smells pretty much like what it smells like on my skin. This is, yes, the jasmine and the sandalwood are vying for attention at the very top, but you can still detect the same smooth, slightly creamy and slightly spicy characteristic of real sandalwood, which I believe it contains. The next one that I found quite close is probably the only perfume I have which has real sandalwood, which is Grossmith's Phul-Nana, which came out at a time when sandalwood was still abundant and probably was used, and it is listed as a base note in this fragrance. So since it is based on India, it probably has real Mysore sandalwood, and I've read up on this. It contains coumarin, patchouli and sandalwood in the base. This sandalwood reminds me a lot about the sandalwood in Bois as well as Samsara. It's also creamy, it's not so much woody. I don't even use woody to describe this note. It's more like slightly smooth and creamy, and somewhere between wood and spices is how I would describe it. And surprisingly, the most accurate rendition of Mysore sandalwood I've ever smelled is in a soap, and this is Roger and Gallet's Bois de Santal soap from the 70s, I believe. So this is vintage soap and probably does contain something resembling sandalwood. Wow. This is truly creamy and also milky, but although a lot of people use the word milky, but it's more of the unprocessed milk smell. I could smell this all day. It's really very good. So a little bit of background into the names of sandalwood. I believe the smell, a distinctive smell of sandalwood, is due to many components in the mixture, but the main odorant is actually, if I'm not wrong, is actually beta xanthalol. And this is a picture of the molecule. There are many other odorants. Now they've come up with synthetics to replace the smell of this sandalwood component, so things like sandalol and polysanthol, but you can read up on it online. So I hope you can add more information, especially those of you who have other sandalwood based scents like Bois de Santal, original Santal, Santal de Mysore, and so on. Thanks a lot.